guess we can take a look at some of these new alt arts, but there isn't really much here. Like, personally, the way I feel, there's been a couple of alt arts that they've announced for the quarter century art collection in the OCG, which generally, I just want to say, before we even look at some of these, I do really appreciate this sort of stuff. I think alt arts are generally just a great thing with very little negative to it. Like, if the worst thing that can happen is that they release an alt art that people do not prefer over the older one, and so people just play the older one, right? It's like, it's something where no matter how rare an alt art is, no matter how bad you think an alt art looks, you are never forced to get it, right? Like, you always have the option to just stick with the one that's already out there, and that I think is a great concept. I think alt arts are a very, very good concept to release, because they give players an option, and like an alt art that's like a really good chase card in a set is pretty cool, because then, like, yeah, the card may be expensive, but you're never forced to actually get it. So I think it does a lot for the quality of products while not making the game itself more expensive necessarily. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like the best of both worlds, basically, right? You're putting chase cards into a set without making the game more expensive to play, which I think is great. So that's why, even if some of these alt arts we're going to look at today, I've looked at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's great. You know, like, I think some of these are cool, some of these aren't. But like, overall, I think it doesn't matter, because if I don't need, I don't need to play this Called by the Grave, for example. This Called by the Grave, to me, is not the best alt art, because it just looks very, very different. It's almost unrecognizable as a Called by the Grave, I feel like. I don't know exactly what I was expecting from a Called by the Grave alternate artwork. I've seen some people that really liked it, though. Like, I've seen people that commented like, hey, I like this because, I don't know, I like Life Twins, and I'm just gonna play this version of Called by because of it, which I think is totally fine, you know? It does kind of look like a trap hole card. You are right. The artwork would be more fitting for like a, I don't know, bottomless trap hole or trap hole, whatever, alt art, but it's fine. You know, because at the end of the day, if I don't like this alt art, I don't have to play it, right? So I think it's fine. This one was the one that confused me the most, because this is Pot of Extravagance, right? This is Pot of Extravagance, and when I saw this, I just thought this was a new Eldritch card. I just thought this was a new Eldritch card that they announced, and then I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, that's just Pot of Extravagance retrain. Or not retrain, alt art, which, like, I think it's, once again, I don't necessarily care. This is not a bad thing, because if I'm going to play Pot of Extravagance, I'm going to play the left Pot of Extravagance, right? I'm not going to play this Pot of Extravagance. But, like, I don't really care for it either. Like, it doesn't hurt me in any shape or form that this card exists. I just feel like they should be choosing... They should be doing more alt arts for iconic monsters, I feel like, than spell cards. Because what they end up doing is they're taking a generic artwork that's completely fine, Pot of Extravagance, and they're bringing it into some archetype, right? They're putting Pot of they're like retraining Pot of Extravagance's artwork to look like an Eldritch card, which is okay, I guess. But then why not just give more badass alt arts to Eldritch cards themselves? I guess Eldritch only has one real monster, and that already has an alt art, so I guess fine, whatever. I think they're just trying to appeal. Essentially, they are trying to appeal to new players, because remember, Life Twin and Eldritch are two decks that have received tryout decks, quote-unquote starter decks, right? Like, they're trying to appeal to those decks, to those players that have maybe started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again with those decks. So, and I think from that perspective, it makes sense, right? Like, from that perspective, if you've started playing the game again with Life Twins or Eldritch or Cyber Dragon, there's also a Cyber Dragon themed one. If you started playing the game with those, and now you're like an Eldritch main or a Life Twin main or a Cyber Dragon main because of it, I think for those players, these alt arts make a lot of sense. And that's cool, because I think this is all an effort to try and appeal to newer players for Yu-Gi-Oh, which I think is important and good. And if you're an old head like me, and you've been playing with this version of Pot of Extravagance for years, and this is the one you prefer, then you can keep doing that. That's fine. Lightning Storm over here has gotten a Cyber Dragon artwork, which first of all, it is fitting. They're picking fitting cards for these decks, right? Pot of Extravagance out of these is a very fitting card for Eldritch. The Called By, it kind of makes sense for Life Twin. I think most Life Twin decks play that card. And Lightning Storm is a pretty fitting card for Cyber Dragon because it's a blind second deck a lot of the time. I don't know if it has to be now, but like it can be, right? So this is the new Lightning Storm, which I think is pretty cool, actually. This is probably my favorite out of these three. The Lightning Storm looks pretty dope. I mean, I got no issues with the old Lightning Storm either. I think the old Lightning Storm is also pretty cool, but this one's pretty cool, you know? So yeah. I do think there's more alt arts in this quarter century art collection, which is probably why it's called the art collection. It's gonna probably come with a lot of alt arts, which is a pretty cool product. I like that a lot. I think it's cool. Does anyone know if this is something that we could potentially already expect in Rarity Collection 4? Or is this something that we just have no idea when we're getting this, and it might be way later? You can see some of the alt arts on the new pack too. Is there... Hold up, let me enhance on the pack artwork. Are there some arts on here that we have not... that we don't know what it's for yet? This looks like Access Code Talker, doesn't it? Down here in the center. But doesn't Access Code Talker already have an alt art? Yeah, we know that one already. Well, I can tell this is Black Rose, but that's known. This is Ray. We've seen that already. This is Rescue Cat over here. This is Dark Magician Girl, but we know that one too. This is the Pot of Extravagance. This looks like Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Was that known? This is Hayate. We just got in the thing. This is Baguska chilling over here. But Baguska, I think this just looks like normal Baguska artwork. This isn't even an alt art, I think. Pillow art? Pillow art. Oh, I get it. It's the TCG one. Okay, for them it makes sense because they don't have that one. That's fair because Baguska was censored in the TCG. So they're getting our artwork as an alternative artwork. Okay. So this is Neos on the left here. This is Red Eyes. This is Sparkman. This is Stardust Dragon. I don't see anything completely new here. I don't know. No need to play detective right now. We're probably going to see this sooner rather than later. I don't know when it comes out in the OCG, the quarter century collection. What is left of the 25th logo? Hold up. So underneath it is Cyber End Dragon, and this has to be Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, right? This just has to be Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. The gold one. Oh, you mean over under here? Oh, down here. The logo is on here twice. This I don't know. It looks like one of those fusion monsters. Blue Eyes. It's just Blue Eyes. But that'd be a new alt art for Blue Eyes, wouldn't it? I've never seen that one either. It would make sense for it to be Blue Eyes, because then it would be Blue Eyes on the left, the Dark Magician on the right of the logo. That would kind of make sense design-wise of the pack thingy. But that is not a Blue Eyes that I recognize. Although I think the Dark Magician is also new, right? Right? Those are both new arts for the OGs. All right, cool. Turns out we did play some more Detective after saying we would not play Detective. When does this pack come out? The Quarter Century Art Collection releases on February 22nd. So that is in literally 5 days. So yeah, look, we don't have to speculate. We could also just wait 5 days and then we would know all of it. So I think we're fine.